Oh, that's neat. Okay, let me start sharing my screen.
Go for it.
Okay, we're sharing. Let's see. Yeah, so I went on and studied JSON, and the W3 schools, the site w3schools.com was very.
My favorite.
It's your favorite one?
One of the sites I even use for my job. I work as a software developer, and sometimes I forget things, and I go there.
Yeah, I see it's really fast because I've been using the Solo Learn earlier. It's a little more complicated, but that one is.
They're both good. Solo Learn's not bad too, but I like W3 Schools. It has stuff and has examples, and most things it has the runnable codes where you can play with the code.
Yeah, and I think today we'll do some playing with the codes. Let's see some of the things that I've learned this week in JSON. So first thing is like that definition of it. When you kind of take the first letter, like an acronym, that's how you call it. So it's JavaScript object notation. So it's very interesting, and you store data, you make exchange of data from web servers, and you transfer data to servers, and it makes it easier because in some other ways it could be a little more complicated. I have also noted that when you're dealing with browsers and servers, it sounds like it's easier to work with text, and JSON is like an answer because there it says JSON is a text and it's written also in JavaScript. So it's like sending text and receiving text. But there would be some conversion involved in the process of sending and receiving. And these are the things that we like the core of our study for this week, how to send and to receive. And that's what refers to as the JSON parse and the JSON stringify. That's how you call it? Stringify?
Yeah, stringify.
Stringify. So when you're stringifying it, you're just transforming whatever you got into a string. Like you're receiving things from JavaScript, like objects, and you transform them into strings, and you make them JSONs for transfer back and forth. Other things that was interesting about JSON that I discovered was that it's pretty similar to JavaScript, and of course it's based on it. Most of the coding that you do in JavaScript is pretty much the same. And let's see. Let's look at the types of data that you have in JSON. The types of data that we have are strings, numbers, objects, array, and Boolean. We also have null. But to the opposite of JavaScript, you do not have functions, deep and undefined. In fact, we can use these, but we'll also have to undergo some conversion. But these seems like to flow naturally, these data types. All right. There we do have an example of a string in JSON. You have those accolade, and then you open quote, name, and you assign to name the word John, and you put that in open quote. It differs to JavaScript in the sense that here in JavaScript you would not have quote for that variable.
Yes.
We would have just name without quote, and then that John would have the quote.
Yeah, it's value pairing.
Yeah. So, but interesting thing, when you work with with numbers, you don't need the quote for numbers.
Yeah.
But you need it for the variable. and that was interesting. And okay, so now I think we can go into some little more complicated stuff. Let's try that JSON parsing. Okay, so let's say that we have to exchange data with a web server, and that we do have this from JSON, and we would recognize that this is JSON because of those quotes. And also, interesting enough, before the accolades, you do also have a quote, and it is in the middle. So you code this to change this into JavaScript function. Like for example, you declare the variable and you call it out like object, but you abbreviate object if we say it that way. And then you write JSON.parse and then you put the string that is from JSON. Okay? And with this, you can get it transferred easily. And let's give that a try. Okay, in the code, so what we had here in JSON as name, age, and city, when it gets transferred to print it, we write document.getElement by ID and pay attention to the capitals. And demo.innerHTML object name plus and comma, this the way it will appear, and the age. Of course, in this one, the CD doesn't show, and if we have to show the CD, we can, of course, just add it, like a regular plus, and then object.ct, and run it. This the CD showing. Of course, we can add some more things to make it beautiful and some syntax.
I think you meant to put that after age.
We can just put it after age?
Yeah, you just added another space after name.
Oh, yeah, thank you. It's good to have two eyes. That's better. Oops. There's a plus missing.
Yeah, you forgot a plus.
And that one.
Yeah, it should like.
In fact, they are divided into little parts, and just add part and subtract part from it. For example, yeah, you can take part of it. All right. So it's like this is from JSON into JavaScript. All right. Now we can go back. If we go back. Okay. All right. All right. Also, we do have arrays in JSON, and we deal with them kind of the same way, but the only thing we have to pay attention is where we add it. That area appears in here, so of course we had that all that part in the first code we used, and in this one you have the array This is the index of the array, meaning this is referring to the first element of that array. Let's go into the code to see how it shows. Okay, array. Because these are the names of the vehicles that they store: Ford, BMW, Audi, and Fiat. And so here, the necessary part of the code is that part. This is var variable my array equal JSON parse this response that response text, and then this gets us to print the first element of the array. And we can change it. If we change it, like if we want to see the second element of the array, remember that arrays position index in arrays, you start them with 0.
Yeah.
So at the end, the length of the array is always the number of elements minus 1, since we started with 0. And let's see what will show for 1 if we run the code. Then it shows BMW, which is the second one. It was there, so that's the second one in there. All right. So, and we mentioned earlier. I mentioned that dates and functions are not integral parts of JSON. So in order to have them, we need to modify the code a little bit. For example, if we want to include a date, like right here, we do have a JSON text. We have a name, and a birth date, and a CT. But that one appears as a string. It's not a date yet. We need somehow to convert it, because when we move it from JSON to JavaScript, it doesn't automatically convert this to a date. And we have to use a special little code to help with that. So it is that little part right here. So let's look at the code in front of us. It's variable text. So the text contains all that. And then we create a new object, and that new object will receive that new object will receive that new object will be how it will show in JavaScript. And then we call this object by putting the name JSON dot parse and then text, which is this variable that we referred to here. And now let's do the conversion. It's object that birth, which is this object here, that the birth inside of it, and then we create a date that says new date, and that's the code for it. You put into parentheses this argument object that birth, and then this would transform the birth, which is a string, onto a date. Let's see how that works. Okay, it does show as the 13th of December 1986. But interesting enough, see, it's 13, while there it shows 14. Let's see what happens if we change this to 13. Change it to 12. No. So that's interesting. That is one. It is one less. Mm-hmm. This is a discovery for me right now. So somehow we need to work on that. Do you have any idea on why this happened? No idea. Hello, guys. Are you there? Yeah.
I'm not sure, honestly. Yeah, that doesn't make sense to me. Because I was thinking maybe at first it starts from 0, but then it'd be the opposite. If it started from 0, then it would go down 1. So I don't know. Or it would go up 1, sorry.
That's interesting. So maybe out of this meeting we can play with it and see what we come out with.
Yeah, so maybe we need to study JavaScript dates and how they work. I'm not sure. I didn't know that either.
Okay, all right.
Date pulls a whole string out with the date. You can actually format the date just to pull the information you want. It'll even cast the date format. Like if you invert the date around to month, day, year, I think it still will come out correct.
Okay. Okay.
I always leave it in the year, month, day format because that's how like SQL works. So I don't have to switch things around.
That's fine. Maybe we can look deeper into that. All right. Okay. So that little part is what we need to make the transformation into the date. And also, since we do the functions, the same would apply into functions. We also need to add an eval keyword to transform this into a function, because there you see we see the name, it's a string, the age, but then what's inside the age is it's a function that returns 30. But if we do the transfer,
oh, that's a anonymous function, so that's still just 30.
Yeah. But then as you use that eval, that one would make the change and convert it and get the result. Let's go into the trying mode. The age is showing properly as 30. So if we just change it to 34, the change appears automatically. But the little eval here is doing that mechanism. So it's eval parenthesis, open quote, and then another parenthesis and open quote, and plus object age plus and close quote, parentheses, close, and then.
It's kind of a neat trick. It's
I didn't know you could do that. Yeah.
It's just a neat trick. JavaScript can do kinds of fun stuff like that. It's taking the string because the age and the text up there, that's just a string, really. It sees it as string, then the secondary function, then you got the eval. And you'll see it's inside a quotation. It's going, okay, what is this? And it's converting that into an anonymous function. And then
returning the answer. Yeah.
That's kind of cool. I never thought of doing that.
Yeah, so that makes it a little fun.
Don't know if I'd ever use it, but that's kind of cool, though.
Yeah, good to know.
we might have to, and yeah, I don't know, actually. Yeah, I don't know why you would. Unless you wanted to store a function on an API, I don't know why else you'd want that.
Yeah. Oh, that's interesting. So that was it. How to change from JSON into JavaScript. Now, if we want to invert the process, changing from JavaScript onto JSON, and that's where we use the
stringify.
Stringify. Yeah, that one I need to practice that word. Okay, so this object that we looked at here, this variable object, is into JavaScript. So it contains name as John, and age as 30, and city New York. And this little code here make the change, and we'll change that into JSON. But To print it, this is the word that we use: document get element by ID, demo, and inner HTML equal myJSON. Let's check it. Okay, so it's like enter it as
Sounds cool if you have a preset amount of values already, your value pairs. But you can do a multi-dimensional JSON by using the put function. You create an array and then put it into an array and then stringify it.
Oh yes, we can do that. We can do that too. Yeah, more complicated. So let's see. I think we do have something like this right here.
Oh, JSON arrays it might talk about, where you're actually pushing new value into it, where you have like a for loop.
Oh yeah. Yes, I think we can refer to this in that part where it talks about this, and they can make it a little complicated. Like,
Well, that's doing sub.
For example, let's see. Let's get one right here. And that's what about the for loops.
Yeah.
And then you incorporate the for loop into your array, and there you go. We can try that one. Alrighty. So really, there it shows like really like an array.
That's arrays inside of an array. Not showing how to stringify it though. That's an advanced topic, but you should know it still.
Yeah, we're gonna have to deal with that when you get to APIs. I think it's the next skill. You're gonna have to know how to get a bunch of objects from an API and then go through it with arrays and be able to sort out all the information you get back.
Yep.
So with this, I think we are good to go, and we can keep digging, keep learning from Jason, and get ready for what we'll be using this for in the future, because this can come pretty handy.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, no, JSON is fast. It's fast and easy to parse and stringify, versus XML is kind of a pain.
Yeah. And Brother Bear, he was telling me that instead of using like SQL databases, he says we should be using JSON databases. And I'm still not quite sure how to do that. He said you can use Node.js to do it, but I still haven't looked at it.
Yeah, there's some of the new databases you can do JSON for. It's really awesome for doing updating.
Yeah.
MongoDB has that built into it. MongoDB is built on top of MySQL, which is related to Oracle.
Yeah.
You can do like batch updates, which is really nice, since I built a billing system for the company I work for, and then just be able to generate a bunch of invoices in seconds versus one at a time is really cool.
What do you use for the database?
It's Mongo.
Oh, I want to learn Mongo. Yeah, especially for this class, since I can't. Because at first I was going to use PHP just because it's so easy to use with SQL, but then you said we couldn't, so I have to learn MongoDB. So.
No, you're just saying don't use PHP, but that's like, okay, so I should throw my job away because I'm a full stack PHP.
I know, I don't get that either. When you said that, I was like, what? Half the web runs on PHP.
And it's like, yeah, I get some of it because it's not my favorite language. I like other, but that's what they tell me to do, and that's my job. I'm not going to say, you can't do this because they tell me what to use.
And it's so easy to use with SQL, you know? It just plugs right in. Like, I've like used Hibernate with Java, and that's so much more of a pain than PHP, and to accomplish the exact same thing.
Well, you got ODBC. You can do different things. There's all kinds of...
Yeah, well, with Hibernate they use ODBC, and just connecting with ODBC was a pain. But when you have like a LAMP server, you know, it's automatically connected. You don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, I like to make classes off of PDocs and use the MVC model. But yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
But yeah, the way things are going, JSON's really good to know. It doesn't really tell you how to stringify things very well unless you already have a set number of values.
Yeah, you already have to have objects, and it looks like you just plug the objects in.
Yeah, I'll copy some code up for you guys to show how to do it the other way, just like a form, a list of items, and stringify it based off of a collection of objects after the fact, after an object's been declared.
All right, sweet.
Yeah.
Oh, did you guys get that video I made?
Yeah.
Okay. That code that I made at the very end, it has stringify and parsing in it too. Because I just combined the two and just sent them to them.
All right, but good job.
Thank you, guys. We're on in our journey. Just keep moving.
All right, yeah. I guess we'll meet again, same time, same place next week.
Next week, yeah.
All right, see y'all. Let's see who has the lesson next week.
Let's see who has the lesson next week.
Am I on the lesson plan?
Yeah.
That's you, Brian?
Am I next week?
1-5. Yep. Nope. That's Todd. Yeah, that's you, Brian. Oh, you know what? It is this week, but that's fine. We can do it next week.
Yeah, we'll just do it next week. And we basically covered the next one because you talked about it in yours. It's just requesting JSON information.
Yeah.
Well, there's a lot more. You can do verbs and stuff, different type of internet verbs, because the typical ones get, post, but there's a couple other stuff.
Yeah, delete. We had to do those in 361.
Yeah. I took 365. I took C# instead of PHP.
Oh, yeah.
Well, because I work as a PHP developer, so it's kind of this class.
Yeah, it makes sense.
So I took C#, and I like C# better.
Yeah, that's what I want to do, because I've worked with PHP too, so I want to learn .NET because I've never worked with it before, you know.
Yeah, but that class 365 we do it. I have that class and it's tough sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah, you will do both C# and .NET framework. All right, friends.
All right.
So we'll see each other next Friday.
Yep.
Yeah, same time, same place.
Same time, same place.
Good.
All right, see y'all.
Okay, see you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.